The following lecture is from my Udemy course, Complete 3D Animation Masterclass, Create Animated Shorts. If you like my teaching style and are interested in taking your skills from intermediate or beginner to advanced 3D artist, consider enrolling in my course. Link in the bio. All right, so now that we have our effects added in, we have our audio added in, we can pretty much consider this done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to render this out. Now, the way we do that inside of After Effects is we're going to come up here to our composition menu. And from here, we can select our rendering options. So you're going to have two of these. You can either add to render queue inside of After Effects or add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. So let's talk about when you might want to do one over the other. The add to render queue in After Effects is going to be used if you plan to pass this on to editing. And in general, if you don't do your sound work in here in most cases, you can export high quality AVI videos from here, which are massive, and you could pass those on to editing with sound, which might be useful if you have a particular effect like explosion that requires it and specific timing. You can also render out image sequences here, which can be passed on to editing, and they can be cut in the editing program. So it just kind of varies. But generally speaking, you're going to use the add to render queue of After Effects when you are going to another program like Adobe Premiere, where it's going to be edited together. But if you're leaving After Effects and you're ready to post this to something like your website, to YouTube, TikTok, whatever's popular at the time, you can use the add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. Now, when you do this, it's going to launch another piece of software called Adobe Media Encoder. I already have mine launched, and this is what the Adobe Media Encoder looks like. Now, the Media Encoder is essentially a publishing software. What it's going to deal with is kicking out videos that are going to be compatible with various formats. So right now, mine's already good to go because I have the settings that work. But basically what you have going on is this over here is a desktop browser to find files. We don't need this because we're porting directly from After Effects. Over here is your queue. That's what's waiting to be rendered. Down here is your progress, and then over here is your presets. So what you're going to look for is essentially your presets down here, and you can look for different presets to use for what you're looking for. Now you'll see there's TV broadcast, there's cameras, there's devices, DVDs, all sorts of things here. What we're interested in particular is going to be the H.264 compressions. So we're going to want to use H.264. You can also specialize it for certain outputs. So they do have social media in here. We might have to dig around for it a little bit here. Social media, last channel here. And you'll see they have a Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo, YouTube preset, and you can input whatever you need here. So for example, ours is an HD 1080p video. You'll see that it's going to use H.264 compression. So let's say my final goal is YouTube. I could drag this onto here, and this will set it up to be for YouTube. And that's really all we have to do. You could export a specific one for Twitter, Vimeo, and all those things. But honestly, if you just go with YouTube setup, it's going to work fine with whatever you go to. Now, something else to be aware of if you are posting to social media usually does its own conversion as well. So if you upload a file that's not compatible for social media, it will do a conversion for you and make it compatible, so it doesn't really matter too much. But this saves extra step. Once you have that set, you can set the location by clicking here. So let's go ahead and click on that. So we'll navigate to our desktop. I'll stick this in my movie here, and we'll just make this our section 3 final and save. And then once you're satisfied with that, you can click this button here, which will render it, and it will start to produce your video. Down in the bottom, you'll see a preview showing your progress. This should progress pretty quick here, and it's going to show us the rendering as it goes. And that's it. So that is the process of getting our video out of here with Adobe Media Encoder queue. Remember to use the Adobe Media Encoder if it is the final product, but if you're going to push it further down the pipeline to someone else, that's usually when After Effects will come in. And this will be our first complete video out of Maya using our forest scene and our ball scene that we have constructed here. So let's go ahead and check it out, come to our movies here, and we can go ahead and check this out on the big screen.